in Seattle, north of Seattle, but it's just Seattle.
Nice. So it's only, 4 o'clock out there?
Mm-hmm.
Early. All right, let's see here. Hello, everybody. We're getting ready to record Monday's podcast with Sylvia, Ariel, and Allie about their trip out to Walt Disney World for a very special occasion, which you're going to hear about here in just about 30 seconds. So just hang with us, and we're going to have a good time here recording. Hopefully the internet holds up for us, and we'll get cracking. All right, pull those notes back up. All right. 23:32. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 2332 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope everybody had a great weekend, and we are inching closer and closer to football, so you know that I am getting more and more excited. And we're heading out to a city where I've always thought they have some of the best NFL football uniforms in the country. I like the Hawks. And now that I'm very much against the Rams, go Seahawks. I like that. So we're going to head out to Seattle today to talk to 3 sisters, and we're going to have a very romantic show today. I know we always do our Is This Romantic episode every Valentine's Day. Today, you're getting it right here on the podcast. So we're going to be speaking with 3 sisters, Sylvia, Ariel, and Allie out in Seattle, Washington. Ladies, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
So you guys are back on the show, and we've been doing the show for quite a few years, and you came on the show to talk about your first trip to Walt Disney World back in 2016. So it's been a minute here since you've been on the podcast. So thanks again for coming back on, and so I hope everybody's been doing well and still enjoying the shows.
Oh yeah, we love the podcast. We definitely utilized it for this trip as well.
All right, so what I'll try to do is kind of bounce around to the 3 of you so we can get everybody in here on the show. But let's talk about. Usually I kind of get some background on the fandom and stuff like that, but you guys have so much in this trip that I want to jump in and really get to it. First of all, traveling from the West Coast. Well, actually, hang on. I said there's a romantic reason for this trip. Who wants to address the backstory of this trip so everybody knows what we're talking about today? Sylvia, you contacted me, or does Allie want to talk about it because it was her deal? I don't want to give it away. I want you guys to
talk about it.
So go ahead, whoever wants to share.
Yeah, so we went because my husband and I decided to get married at Walt Disney World. We originally planned for 2020, but obviously the world shut down, so we had to reschedule for last year. And we decided just to make a family trip out of it and do the Bachelorette, do all of it all in one go.
Well, congratulations. And another podcast where we're talking about a delayed trip from 2020 that had to wait just a little bit. So we've had quite the library of those podcasts over the past year and a half. Now, let me ask you a little bit about that, though. I'd imagine even more complexities with the delay and probably rescheduling and having to go through all that stuff that a lot of us had to do anyway with regular vacations. But what could you tell somebody that's looking from the outside when it comes to a Disney wedding, especially considering you guys are based on the West Coast? I mean, you couldn't be further away from Walt Disney World in Florida. I know we have, the Disney wedding special on Disney Plus. You got some resources there. There's some blogs. There's, I think, websites and stuff. But what did you learn that maybe you didn't know going into planning a Disney wedding?
I think you have to put a lot of trust in Disney and just know that they're not going to be communicating with you like as much as maybe you would want them to or think they would. So it's a lot of weeks where like you don't get an email, but at the end of the day, like the type of experience that you're used to getting from Disney, and at the end they're going to pull through. So you just have to trust that.
Okay, that's a lot of trust though for a wedding. I'll say, because I used to work in the wedding industry. We owned a mobile DJ company, so every Saturday night I was out DJing a reception, for bride and groom that just got married. They came rolling in. announced them into the hall. Here comes Mr. and Mrs. Rallman for the first time. Hey, everybody goes crazy. We had the first dance. We ate muscatoli. Everybody danced, had a good time. And, you know, like you want to have that relationship before so the event goes, but you're saying it's kind of the opposite with Disney. You kind of give them the information. You trust that it's going to happen, but you said you got to put a lot of trust in them because it sounds like there wasn't a whole lot of communication or a lot of meetups and stuff beforehand. That make me a little nervous as a bride or a groom, I would think. Were you kind of a little bit uneasy going into it? Dang it. Hmm. Sorry, everybody. We are having internet issues from their end, so we will get this resolved. We'll work on this and see what we can do. So hang tight. It's the internet. Thanks for hanging with us, though. We'll try to figure this out. Right about 4:30. Hey, sorry, the internet just kind of, you could tell it was like struggling while you were talking there, Allie, like it was just trying so hard.
Well, we moved closer to the modem, so hopefully that helps.
This is way better. Yes,
Okay.
I think it is right now, at least. So let's just pray to the Wi-Fi gods because Wi-Fi stinks. This is why I yell at Ricky when she doesn't use when she uses Wi-Fi. Hardwired. Okay. So here's what I was asking when it hung up, and then I'll just edit this out. I'll just kind of set you up again, Allie, then I'll move on from this. I said something about that I worked in the wedding industry, and were you a little bit uneasy with kind of a lack of communication and a lack of face-to-face going into your wedding, even though you know you can trust Disney because they're a huge brand and we know that Disney usually does right by their guests, but I mean, did it still make you nervous without having, you know, face-to-face meetups and stuff like that prior to your big day?
To be honest, not really. I just was so happy with knowing like I'm gonna have this at my wedding, like I'm getting married in Disney World. Like I just trusted. I was like, and I've been listening to a different wedding podcast that's out there, and everyone on there was just saying the same thing. And I'd been listening for like a year prior, so I kind of knew like this is what it's gonna be like. So those were my expectations going in. But my sister, on the other hand, is a wedding planner, so she actually helped me plan. But I think it definitely made her uneasy, knowing like, why aren't they emailing you back?
Yeah, I get it. Because again, the brides always worked with for about a decade when we did this was, you know, they were control freaks, you know, every one of them, you know, and I get it because it's like, it's a one-time shot, you know, like, you know, there's no do-overs on your wedding day. And so they just wanted to make sure all the I's were dotted, all the T's were crossed. And, you know, the more communication, the better. We'd meet, we'd talk about first dances, you know, what you're going to do for the parents and how everything was going to flow at the reception. It was just, it's one of those things, you know, I would have loved to have had a bride like you that was just chill, you know, because I very few and far between in my experience. And it was always great because the party went awesome in that instance. But I was just curious. Okay, so let's get into the actual trip. You guys travel out all the way across the country from Seattle to MCO. So what's that like, especially for a wedding? Because I'm sure you got to bring more than a typical vacation. So somebody speak to that, the travel down.
We booked. So the first time we went out to Disney World, we just chose the cheapest flight, which had layovers in different places. We kind of split our groups up into 2 separate flights. After that trip, we told ourselves and each other that we were not ever going to do a layover ever again. And a red eye on top of that. So we were leaving at like 5 a.m. Like we were traveling all morning long with a layover. It was just pretty brutal. So this trip, we're all like unanimous decision. We're doing a nonstop flight. We're getting in at a decent hour. We're not doing any red eyes. We're just going to be there. And then what we also did last time that we kind of learned from was the day that we got there, we had a park planned. So we did the red eye, we did the layover, we got to our hotel, and then we went to Epcot that same day for our first trip.
Gosh. That's good.
Yeah, we went really hard the first time. So this trip was very much laid back, especially with all the wedding events and all the stuff that we were planning alongside of our trip. It wasn't just a family vacation. So we gave ourselves a lot of time. So the day that we got there, I don't quite remember what time it is. It was around the afternoon, but we told, that was another decision. We're not doing any parks. We're just going to be at the hotel. We're going to settle in. We're going to be calm and then get going the next day. So that was a big one for us this time.
Good call. And I can't even imagine coming all the way across the country and going to a park that day. That's, I don't even do that. And I only come from St. Louis. It's a 2 hour, 20-minute flight. I'm just like, spent. I can't do it. And sometimes I get in at like noon and I'm just like, I'll swim. I'm good.
But we definitely had a lot more things to bring. We weren't just doing park outfits and stuff. It was all the wedding stuff. Allie had to travel with her dress, and we ended up having to we rented an SUV for the family. And then Allie and Grant, bride and groom, they ended up doing the bus system to get from the airport to the hotel, because the whole rest of our SUV was just luggage. So we sent them off. You guys go to the hotel. You guys get there first and settle in. We'll handle all the luggage and we'll handle rental car and all of that. So yeah, we kind of had to split up once we got there too, just because of the amount of stuff we had to bring.
I already love the way you guys are taking care of each other. That's what family's all about. That's awesome. And also you mentioned in your notes, and I thought this was genius. You guys kind of had a garage sale before you even left home prior to the trip. I think this is great in two different ways. You get rid of stuff you don't need around the house, right? You just kind of accumulate junk over the years, get rid of that. And what you told me what it paid for, I mean, in your notes, pay for the rental car, tank of gas, family dinner, lightning lanes, and Genie Plus for 9 people.
Yeah,
That's a chunk right there. And it's great. That is genius. I mean, I think everybody could do that probably.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work.
Yeah.
And but we marketed it well with like a poster that said wedding garage sale, and like proceeds go to Allie's wedding that's been like postponed since COVID. And we accepted donations. So a lot of our friends did drop things off that we were able to sell. We had a friend whose family was leaving the country and selling everything from their house. So we got a lot of nice goods. We had a bake sale along with it. We just really went all out, and we were just really shocked by how much money we made. The community, like our community, our friends really did come out and to support. And I think Allie's neighborhood just loves garage sales as well. So we just were so blown away by how much money we made.
Yeah, some people even just stopped by just to give cash. They didn't even want anything. So I think that was also a really good way of helping, or having a way for people who aren't, because you're so limited in your guest list and who you can actually invite to your wedding. So it was a good opportunity for them to just help and, give bride and groom the wedding that they've dreamed of. So it was nice.
That'd have been my wife. Should have been like, make a donation. Do not bring anything home. Because my wife does not like stuff like in the house. She's a minimalist. I'm a collector. Like I love like the stuff on the shelf behind me. She hates this stuff. I only get to have it in this room where I can close the door, and she doesn't need to see this. She likes nothing. So yeah, she's like, you can donate the money to the wedding. Do not buy stuff at the garage sale. You don't need it. That's where we differ on that. But I mean, we got our things. Okay, so you guys stayed at Coronado. We haven't talked about that yet. And
favorite.
I love Coronado. It's one of my favorite places. I was just there before our cruise, 2 days, no parks, had a blast. So somebody speak about Coronado. How did it work out for this unique stay for you all? Because you guys were there, 7 nights?
Yeah. Well, we stayed at Port Orleans Riverside last time, and we loved it. But Allie, through the wedding, Disney weddings, had the option of putting a room block somewhere. So we just kind of unanimously wanted to try something different. And I honestly feel like you sold it on us.
You really did.
I hope it was what you thought, because it's kind of a little bit of an upscale to a Riverside and a French Quarter. I mean, they have they're nice, but it feels a little bit more upscale over Coronado to me.
Yeah, it was beautiful. We were able to check out 3 bridges multiple times, at least through the pickup order stuff. There's a lot of seating everywhere. So even if you pick up your order, you can just sit somewhere else, not in 3 bridges. Those little sandy areas are super cute. And We stayed in the casitas, so it wasn't that far. We didn't feel like it was a far walk to the main lobby and where the food court was. We tried Maya Grill. It was great. It was super fun. We're Mexican. We thought it was very authentic. It wasn't
That's my favorite. That's my favorite restaurant. You're not telling me. I love that. Was the guy in there playing the smooth jazz on the guitar?
Oh yeah.
Scott and I have like 12 photos with that guy. We were always in there. We always get a selfie with him. He knows us. He sees us coming. He's great. Because the first couple times we thought that was like piped in on the speakers. No, that's him playing right there. Yeah, good stuff. So the casitas too. That's other than the tower, which I don't always splurge for, but I do sometimes. I like the casitas because great quiet pool over there, and the casitas have their own little gym too. If you want to, use it. I doubt you guys did. You're on vacation, but if you want to use a treadmill or work out or something early in the morning, they have that too. People probably don't know that's over there.
I did not.
Perk. Okay, so we got so much to talk about. I want to make sure we get to all this. So now you get there, you get settled, everybody's there. It looks like your first day you went to Hollywood Studios. So just give us a couple highlights from because you're there, you're probably excited. I mean, of course you're there for the wedding, but theme parks too. Let's have some fun while we're there before the wedding. So Hollywood Studios first day, how's that?
It was mellow.
Yeah, it felt pretty mellow. Like crowd wise too, wasn't too crowded. Yeah, we weren't there. The days, I think just the time frame we were there was kind of in that sweet spot right before all the crowds started showing up for Halloween party. We were kind of early on that.
Cool. So what you guys did 50s prime time? I mean, was that something you had never done? Would you give a quick review of that? What'd you guys think of that place?
That was the highlight, I would say, for that day. Oh my gosh, the server was so funny. My husband, he eats a lot. And I was like, I know they're going to be messing with him. So he normally finishes people's plates.
We call him the vacuum.
That's Grant, him and I, we get along.
Yeah. So he got a fat stack of those stickers. I forget
the
what
Clean Plate Club.
Oh yeah,
all over his body.
I have one on my iPad. It's upstairs.
Our
server put about like 10 stickers on him.
And she was trying to give him other people's plates, like from the rest of the dining room. It was so funny.
But yeah, that was a really great experience. The food was really good. I really liked it. I think the meatloaf was one of the good ones, and then the fried chicken dinner was really good. The specialty drinks were fun.
I used to always get the meatloaf. Now I get the sampler because I can't decide. I get the pot roast. He has the chicken, the pot roast, and the meatloaf, and I always get the PB&J shake. I usually get it at the end so I can take it with me.
We shared that one.
So good. I'd kill for one of those right now. See, you've said Maya Grill, probably my favorite restaurant, and then that's my wife's favorite restaurant. It's 50s Prime Time. So we're already 50 minutes into the show, two of our favorite restaurants. That's awesome. You guys said you had a little struggle with lightning lanes, and did you guys get on Rise? It was broken down.
Just the app in general. That almost every day, like someone's passes were disappearing. We had some ticket issues where like tickets were on the app, and then the morning of they weren't registering, like they wouldn't scan through, so they would push us through. We went to guest services probably every single day we were there.
Yeah,
I was having problems too when I was down this past trip where I went to make I guess it was to try to get my virtual queues at 7:00 every morning, but then it said I didn't have like eligible tickets or something. And I'm like, I guarantee you we have eligible tickets. I know I do. Like, this is what I do for a living. I have an annual pass. My wife and daughter, I just bought them, and I guarantee you we do. And we have reservations and everything. But that
happened to a couple people in our group. So, and we were kind of like, because we had some guests that hadn't been to Disney World at all, so we were kind of like the Disney World stewards for everybody in the group. So if someone had an issue, we would walk them over to guest services and kind of help them get everything figured out. But yeah, we were able to do all the lightning lanes and the all the rides that we wanted to get on. It just was a matter of having to, I think Sylvia was on the phone with guest services a couple times too to get stuff kind of worked out. And my dad, even his magic band, like as soon as we got there, just wasn't working. So that was a whole other issue. Like we had a lot of like technical difficulties this time.
Technology is great when it works. It's
Yeah.
pain in the butt when it doesn't. I know, because the same thing, like I got to do all of my lightning lane stuff and got my virtual queues, but every time, like I was at Epcot at guest services first thing, and like, oh yeah, we can get that for you. I'm like, yeah, but I got up at I stopped everything at 7 a.m. and held my breath and it didn't work, and I did this like every time, like, oh, we got this fixed, so tomorrow you won't have this problem. It's what it's doing, it's drawing from your mini golf tickets instead of your Magic Your Way. I'm like, okay, you fixed it, cool. Next morning, nope, didn't work. No, I guess that wasn't the problem. Because you can't tell. You're just blind faith because they're telling you that. You can't see anything. So
exactly.
I will say Disney was really, really, really kind. We had one day at Epcot where 2 people we couldn't get them the lightning lanes for Cosmic Rewind with us. So they were excluded. We went to guest services and they added them to our group at no charge. And that was super, super nice.
That is not. If they ever need it, they can have mine. I will get mine and gladly give it to them. Just kidding. All right. So the next day, you guys went. Oh, speaking of Epcot, you guys went to Epcot. This was the Bachelorette Day. It looks like over at Epcot. So this sounds fun. I mean, that's the place to go, I'd imagine, for a Bachelorette Day or party day or whatever you're going to call it. So, Allie, tell us about that. How was it? Highlights.
It definitely started off good. We went to the outdoor Mexican restaurant. We had a couple drinks, and then I had my good friend with me, and he's like, okay, now let's go get the wine slushy. And I was like, okay, in Norway. But we had to make it to our Remy reservation right after that. And so we basically had to chug the slushy and like run.
Yes.
And when we got, it was really hot. And when we got to the line, I was just like, oh God, I feel horrible now. But that horrible feeling didn't go away. And I just was like, I don't know, my body was shutting down. It felt really weird. And I just never recovered. I had to leave the Remy line. I ran away to, I didn't know where I was going. This was my second time there. And I'd never been to World Showcase like during the daytime while it was open. So I just went where I could, and I found a shady spot in Japan, right where that Pikachu is, that statue. And I was like, don't find me here. And I just sat there, like covered my eyes and just tried to, I don't know, recover.
Were you thinking, I'm getting married tomorrow and this can't be happening right now?
I couldn't even think that far ahead.
That's what I'd have been thinking. I'd have been like, oh no, please.
I think the best part for us where we're like, where's Allie? She sent us like this sideways photo of the Pikachu. And she's like, my beacon of light is this Pikachu. We're like, got it. Yeah. She's in Japan.
Episode happening. Totally. This is like a Full House episode or something is going down right in front of your eyes. Like, where'd my sister go? She's getting married tomorrow. To be continued.
Definitely would have survived the Ratatouille ride. Like that was, I barely hung on to that one. I would not recommend if you're like easily motion sick from like it's the 3D and the movement together.
I agree.
Cannot handle.
I mean, I can do it because like Flight of Passage, I can't do. Star Tours, I can't do. Definitely can't do Cosmic Rewind anymore. But I can do Ratatouille. But the way you're describing it, no way. I'm glad you didn't do it. Yeah.
No, we waited forever, but as soon as we started moving, I said nope. I took my glasses off and like it was no, I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah, because that wasn't there. That wasn't there the first time we went. That was a new one for us.
Yeah, that's relatively new. So now, did you guys do Cosmic Rewind this day? Because you said you had a lightning lane. That you guys can do that fine.
Yes,
I loved it. I loved Cosmic Rewind.
Because you can't do this is killing me because you couldn't do Ratatouille, but you could do Cosmic Rewind. That's like 10 times more intense, I think.
I think it's different because they rotate the car towards the thing you're supposed to look at.
Yes.
Versus just like drifting around a corner and pulling you into a bay. I'm just like, everything is happening so fast in Ratatouille. Like,
I don't know, man. That's a hard sell for me. You couldn't do Ratatouille, but you could do Cosmic Rewind. We'll leave that to the jury of thousands out there listening today on a Monday. Are we okay with this? Because I think you can do both, but yeah, I get it. Different strokes for different folks, but yeah, Cosmic Rewind. 5 seconds in, I was done this last time. Now you also did Figment for the first time, so
I loved it.
You guys read all the blogs and all the stuff. So is is all the Figment hype? Does he live up to the small role he plays in this attraction?
It was a hoot. I absolutely loved it.
He's super cute.
Yeah.
I say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're all adults too. Like we didn't have any children with us really, except for Allie's niece and nephew. Oh no, the boys were at Universal that day, but we had one child with us, but all the rest of us were all adults, and we got on Figment. We were having a great time. It was super cute. Yeah.
That's what it's about. Now, it also says in the notes you guys have Via Napoli, but you had to cancel out on that. So something happened with that, or you just decided to go just a different way that evening, or what?
So, well, the reason we ran to Remy was because on the app, it said that the wait time was super low. So once we got in line, the numbers started getting bigger and bigger. And we did the Disney math, and we wouldn't be able to make it to Via Napoli on time if we went. We'd have to choose one or the other. And again, they wouldn't let me cancel on the app this reservation, but I was on the phone almost the whole time I was in line for Remy. And when I finally got through, they canceled it for me with no penalty, which was super nice, but we missed out on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's good pizza, but it's pizza. So you didn't miss too much. I'm glad for that. Wasn't a huge, and you can usually get Via Napoli. So next time you guys go back, you can totally go there. Okay. So let's get to rehearsal day. The next day. Oh, you get married in 2 days. I'm sorry. You were getting married the next day.
2 days to recover.
You just had practice the next day. Tell us, because I've been in a Disney wedding. A couple of our listeners, Jay and Melissa, got married years ago. And they got married in July. Thank you, Jay and Melissa, for getting married in July on Seabreeze Point at Boardwalk. So that we were all wearing tuxedos in July, standing on the boardwalk. I was like, oh my gosh, if I don't pass out from the heat. We were all just, it was so hot. We were not in the wedding pavilion. We were not in air conditioning until we got into aerials for the reception. So tell us about, how does a rehearsal go? Because I don't know like how intense they do it. Just people are probably definitely curious about how this whole day unfolds.
It's easy. They just tell you like who goes down when, and for me, since the wedding was at the wedding pavilion, the rehearsal was not at wedding pavilion because they had a wedding that day. So they did the rehearsal at one of their ballrooms. So they just put us in there, and they kind of coordinated us, told us where to go, and I think it was like an hour, maybe not even the hour. Yeah. The only thing that kind of sucked about the rehearsal was we didn't know exactly like what time it was going to be up until like maybe 2 weeks before the trip. So we kind of had to like tell people it's generally going to be in the morning, but we had to leave our plans kind of open, I think is how it worked.
They told you it was going to be it was going to be this day, but they didn't give you a time.
Yeah. I think for ADRs, I know she wanted to do, or the couple wanted to do some kind of rehearsal dinner, but in this case it would be lunch. So we just kind of guesstimated, and we got some homecoming reservations. But then when we finally actually got the real time, we realized that would be a really big gap. So it wouldn't be like rehearsal and then rehearsal meal.
Lunch, brunch, whatever,
So we actually ended up at Trails End, which was perfect, honestly.
Oh man, that's where I'd love to go if I was at a wedding. Like wedding practice, go over to Trails End and get breakfast. That'd be perfect. I mean, especially considering what we know now that it's not there anymore. You can't even do that. That's really cool. So everything went well, and you felt confident that the next day was going to be, because I remember actually for our wedding, I mean, got 17 years ago. It's been quite a long time, but I mean, even our rehearsal was like bing bang. It was real quick. I mean, it was probably a half hour. Because I was like, is this it? Like, I mean, we only walked down, everybody, we were just like in shorts and Hawaiian shirts, and, you stand there, you stand there. And like, we only did it one time. Like, we're going to do this again. Like, is everybody good? Because I'm a teacher, I was like, I think we should do this a couple times. I'm a coach too. Like, we should run through this like 7 times. Make sure everybody knows. Nope, we're good. Let's go eat, let's go to the pasta house. Let's go have the dinner. I was like, okay, I guess this is going to be fine. Because preacher was like, everybody knows what they're doing. They'll be fine.
Yeah, it's very relaxed.
Yeah, same. I was just like, but I think we should probably practice more than this. We're still married, so we guess it worked. I don't know. So you guys
that was kind of weird was that the person that ran our rehearsal was not the same person that ran the day of.
Really?
So they were like, "Don't worry, I'll take notes, I'll pass it on, but I won't be working the day of your wedding." So that was kind of like, are you sure you won't be? You know, it's like when people like have babies and they have their doctor and the doctor's sick on the day of the birth. It kind of felt like that, where it was like, wait, you're not going to be our coordinator day of? Like, where is he?
Like, I don't care how good your notes are. Like, I'd like to. There could be a little, stuff lost in the translation here when you pass this on from Bob to Fred or whoever is going. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating. They told us multiple times, meet here at 10 tomorrow at the grand staircase at the Grand Floridian. You're going to have your family photos there. They told us multiple times. They said, go check it out. This is where you're taking your photos. This is where you'll meet your photographer. Well, day of, we show up and they're like, who are you? And we're like, oh, we're this wedding party. And they're like, no, there's a wedding. You can't go in there. They didn't let us meet at the staircase. They're like, go to the wedding pavilion, which was like a pretty big walk. So I asked if they could at least transport the bride and groom, because we were just all left to figure out, now we need to walk over to the pavilion.
Oh yeah, you should not have to, because I was just staying at the Grand a few weeks ago, and one morning the gym was locked up, couldn't get in, so I just walked around from the Grand over to the Polynesian and back a few times, and that's not a walk you want to do in formal attire at all. Like you should have transportation for a walk. Yeah, that's good. I like that you're advocating for the bride and groom. That's exactly what you need. That's good.
Yeah.
You guys also did Typhoon Lagoon that day. So you went to a water park after the breakfast, after the rehearsal breakfast and the rehearsal and all that stuff. So that's a good way to chill out, as long as nobody gets sunburned or, gets too exhausted, because water parks can wipe you out. But did that turn out well?
Yeah, that also felt like a mellow day for me anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, it was overcast.
Yeah. I mean, that does sound like fun, just because I would just lay on the lazy river probably all day and probably not do
that. That was like the first thing we did, was like, all right, let's jump in the lazy river.
We didn't do the wave pool though. It looked too intense.
Oh, smart. That wave pool will kill you in Typhoon Lagoon. That horn and it'd be and it's like, especially if you wear glasses, your glasses end up all crooked. Oh, it's wild. Yeah, that thing is destroys little kids and adults alike. It's an equal opportunity.
Destroys families.
Blast you. Okay, let's get to the big day, wedding day. I love what time this starts, because it reminds me of a Run Disney race.
Oh yeah.
What time?
It really was a marathon of a day.
3 a.m.
3 a.m.
Yeah, that's when the hair and makeup girls came to my room, so I had to be awake at least before that, ready for them.
So so some people come, they're from Disney, right? They come knocking on the door. No, this is your people, like you third party, or how's that?
I booked them, like I found them on Instagram.
Okay. And they just come to your hotel room and bring all their stuff and start doing hair and makeup, because I don't know how any of this stuff works.
That's exactly it.
Wow.
At
And
3 a.m.
so then you have a photo shoot at 6:30 a.m. at the Magic Kingdom. So is that before sunrise or right at sunrise, I'm guessing, that time of year?
The sun was rising when we were leaving the park, so like at 7. So it was pretty much dark the whole time.
Wow. I bet that was awesome. So like, where did you guys go to get pictures? Like in front of the castle, partner statue? How'd that go?
We chose the route that had the Pirates and Haunted Mansion, because I'm a huge Haunted Mansion fan. And then it had the Tangled bathroom area, but like I know it's a bathroom, so like I don't really want pictures.
Awesome looking. Nobody has to know you don't have to like put the bathroom.
So we skipped that one, and he let me do some other pictures. But yeah, super cool. There's like nobody in there. There's just cast members like working on. There were like little elves like fixing things. There was cars driving through. I was just like, oh my gosh, I was freaking out.
So how'd you get there? Like, did Disney transport you in like a van or something? And did you walk in through the front gates? I mean, how does that logistically work or something like that?
Yeah. So they picked us up at what time at Coronado?
At about 6.
Okay. So they had they did our first looks there, and then we got in the van. We said goodbye to Silvia, who had made sure we were there on time, and they drove us kind of backstage, and we entered on like this side door on Main Street.
Okay. I know you're talking about. Yep. I know what you're talking about. Okay, cool.
Right.
That's really, especially for a Disney like fan. That's
Yeah.
like that's the goal. You're just like,
Yeah,
this
it was really cool.
like this is a parade for one, right? Or parade for two today. Exactly. Okay, so you do that. Now I love this. 7:00, you two come back from your photo shoot, grab some breakfast, and it's time to go back to bed. It's time to take a nap. Because I mean, this is gonna be a day, right? And you 3:00, you were up. So it looks like you have breakfast and take a nap because at 10:30, you're gonna take some more pictures with the family, but this time over at the wedding pavilion. So this time you head over that way. So talk to us about how all that goes down. Is this kind of what you're talking about? You were at the grand staircase at the grand, and then you make your way over.
Yeah. So we had the bride and groom separated. I gave up my room for the groom, and then the girls were in Allie's room. So I just made sure the groom was getting ready. I checked on him. He was actually really stressed, and I think he was just nervous. He was stressed about his bow tie, about the gel in his hair. So I just like helped him out, helped him get out the door. And then they met with the Disney photographer in the lobby of Coronado, of the tower. And when they got taken away, then Ariel and I started getting ready. And the night before, I took their breakfast order. So when they got back to their room, they could just eat in their room and just go straight to sleep because I needed my bride and groom to have their rest.
Good idea.
So then we ate in the what is that? The El Mercado.
Yep.
Loved it. We went like every morning. Same breakfast.
Same. I love that place.
So yeah, we told the family we need you guys outside at the car at this time to get to the Grand Floridian, and everyone showed up right on time, and we just loaded up that Suburban or the Escalade, whatever it was, and went to the Grand Floridian.
And Goofy was there was some characters up on the on the balcony when we got there, and they were like, doing the whole thing, waving and blowing kisses to bride and groom. Oh, it was so cute. Like as soon as we got out, I was just like, oh my God, they're here for us. It just feels like that because it's the day of,
They were there for you. That's exactly what Walt Disney World's about. They were there for you. That's so cool. Okay, so the ceremony takes place high noon, wedding pavilion. So just quickly, what's that like? I mean, this is your Disney wedding. You've been looking forward to it for all this time, and it's happening. And I've never been inside the wedding pavilion, but I hear that there's like a stained glass window that you can see, or there's a window where you can see right through to Cinderella Castle and all that good stuff. I mean, is it as amazing as I've seen pictures, but I've never been in? What's that like?
Beautiful. That window they told me is like slightly magnified, so the castle's supposed to look a little closer.
Disney, look at that. See, they're so smart.
The details. Yeah, it was the craziest part for me was I've never toured it because I didn't go for the rehearsal. I'd only seen pictures, videos. So that day was the first time I was seeing it, and I was like, okay, it's just as pretty as I thought. Like, I'm really happy here. And it's just kind of surreal.
Wow. So how long did the ceremony take? Because I know they have to do a lot of weddings in a day. I mean, I just know how the wedding industry is, even here in St. Louis, or venues where they would have busy season, 5 weddings on a Saturday. I mean, I'm sure Walt Disney World's like that probably every day of the year. Was your wedding like an hour, half hour? What was it?
I think it was 25 to 30 minutes for the actual ceremony part. Something like that. Not too long.
We were there for about an hour though, because we did pictures afterwards.
Nice.
And we hung out for a little bit, and then they ushered us over to the bridge for photos.
Cool. Man, I bet you got some great pictures there. So it says then from 1 to 3 had a celebration at the convention center. So the convention center over at the Grand, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
So you go past the main building there over to the convention center. So what happens over there? Is that kind of like a reception at a traditional wedding?
Kind of. So we opted for I think it's 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah. The 2-hour celebration. So it's not technically a full reception. So we cut out a lot of things. Like we didn't do the mother and son dance or the father-daughter. We didn't do any of that. We just did the bride and groom dance. We did a couple of speeches versus a whole bunch of them. We had a little bit of dancing, and then we had cake, and then we had nacho bar for the meal part.
Oh, you know what? You just won the internet with that. The nacho bar. I've never heard of that. That's genius. And what you did was you just took all the best parts of a wedding reception and just got rid of the boring stuff. I've been to probably 300, 400, 500 wedding receptions, working in them in my past, and like you just killed a wedding reception right there. This is like an all-star wedding. Wedding reception was what you did. In the nacho bar, you just put the crown right on top of the head. So, I mean, I'd imagine your guests really had a good time with that. And 2 hours is a good window, especially when you're at Walt Disney World with so much other fun stuff to do.
Mm-hmm. And we had one special detail. So I kept Sylvia in the loop because she was helping me plan everything. Kept her in the loop for everything as far as the wedding goes, except for this one detail. Do you want to kind of explain what happened from your perspective?
Yes, so I'm their wedding planner, and I would ask them for certain things. And Allie told me later that she would send me a very cropped version of their banquet order that would not show what the special surprise would be. So since I am also their wedding coordinator, that day I introduced myself to every single Disney cast member that was running the Disney side of the wedding. And when we get to the reception, someone introduced themselves as like, I can't even remember the title anymore, but it was like talent manager, something like that. And I was just like, okay, like I don't have time to ask all the details. I'm just like, don't know what that is. So we had the coordinator, the photographer, and the coordinator pulls me aside at some point and says, at 2 p.m., a special guest will be coming through the double doors. And all the math, the equations like are making sense in my brain. And I start crying because I know what this means. I'm not just their planner, wedding planner. I'm her sister. And this is like a surprise for me as well. And I'm just like, okay. And the wedding coordinator actually said, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, do you not see people cry about this all the time? And she said, "You should eat something." And I just was like, okay.
She's trying to save you before the big guy comes.
Yes. So I made sure I just shoved some nachos in my face, just make sure I was okay. But yeah, so now at this point, I realize I'm the only person besides Allie and Grant who know about this. And now it's just like, can we just do it now? Because I cannot wait. I cannot hold this any longer. So the photographer and I were coordinating at this point, and he had me get Allie and Grant behind their wedding cake. And then, so Ariel and I were actually the DJs and MCs. So I got on the mic and just said, everyone turn your attention to these double doors. We have a special guest. And then the Disney people just open the door, and Mickey comes out with his little top hat that match Allie and Grant's wedding colors. And he just does his little, his little entrance.
Let's party. I want nachos.
So as the DJs, Allie and Grant had told us that we could only play Disney music during cake cutting. And we're like, that is so weird. And now it makes sense because that is when Mickey would show up. But we just went with it. We made the Disney playlist for the cake cutting. So it was super cute. Allie and Grant chose the Tiki Room, like the Lovebird kind of theme. Yeah. So that was playing when they cut the cake.
How cool is that? That's what a Disney wedding's all about. Like I'm right now, I got it in the feels. Like that is so cool. Disney's there, you're cutting your cake, got some Disney music on, and you two are the DJs and you're getting the kick out of it as big as they are. It's like, oh man, I love, this is about family. I love this. This makes me so happy. I love it. I got to make sure we get all this in though. So I just want to stop here because that is so awesome. But the Cinderella glass slipper photo shoot. So I have no idea what that means. Did you guys talk to us about that, Ariel? How's that? What's that about?
So in the Grand Floridian, there's a like backdrop area with the pillow, just the pillow for the glass slipper. And we're like, we went there earlier that day, or maybe it was rehearsal day. We saw it or something like that. But we went back up there after the wedding.
Second level.
Yeah, on the second level, there was a PhotoPass photographer, and he was asking, do you guys want to take some pictures here? And Allie and Grant were there, all dressed up, and they got to do a little mini photo shoot. The PhotoPass guy was loving us. He was saying, okay, now do this. Now hold out the slipper. Now you can pick it up. Here, kind of cradle it together in your hands. And he also had some other props too. He had the Mickey pumpkin, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had the Mickey pumpkin, and he was having Allie and Grant kind of pose with it a little bit. And we were there for maybe 30 minutes taking pictures, just everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked me too. He was like, would you like a couple pictures too? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? Like, I'm holding the slipper, and it was so fun. And he actually got a compliment from us afterwards. You can do that through the app, is give a cast member compliment. And
That's cool.
we just had such a great time with him, and he was, so happy. You can't be mad on a wedding day, or even at Disney World in general. So he was just like, congratulations. Like, we really appreciate you guys celebrating here on your special day. Like, he was a very sweet person. But yeah, that was our little extra bonus photo shoot for the day.
Well, I think that's fun too, just to be a part of the day, even if you're somebody like a cast member who's a PhotoPass photographer up there, like that's fun to get that opportunity rather than just, some kids running through the lobby, like, hey, bride and groom here. Let's make this. These pictures you're going to remember forever, gonna always have. Okay. So I'll make sure we get this. So you take a little break because been going since 3 a.m. and then you have a huge reservation for California Grill, 35 people. So wedding coordinator Silvia, you had to do a little work on this one, right, to get this all together. So because you want to see fireworks apparently at the end, because California Grill has that amazing view.
Yeah, we worked our magic. I think that the fireworks were a second priority. We wanted to make sure all our guests would be able to make it to this dinner. We called it, I can't remember. Was it celebration dinner?
Mm-hmm.
So we went extra early. We for ADR day, I think Allie and I,
it was the three of us.
Yeah, the three of us got online and just booked as many tables as they would let us. So let's say Allie had a 7 p.m. I got a 7:15. Ariel got the 7:20, and we just kept booking these reservations. And which is weird now, because now Disney will send you a notification that says this reservation overlaps this other reservation. So I don't think we'd be able to do that again. But at that time we did. So we were able to get like 5 tables for 5 people or something like that, like 7 tables of 5, something like that. And we went super early and just talked to the front desk and let them know that we are a wedding party. We have this many tables. And I was honestly prepared for them to be so frustrated and like kind of annoyed. But this lady, I wish I remembered her name. We did leave her a cast compliment, but she got this like piece of paper and just did her little Disney math and drew like a map of where she was going to put us. And it was perfect. We were all super close to each other. It was 3 big tables that they made out of our reservations. And as we were signing the check, they were announcing that the fireworks would be starting soon. So we sent Allie and her friends out into the viewing area. It was just like picture perfect. Like I see my sister in her wedding dress and the fireworks are going off and she's hugging her husband. It was just beautiful. And the friends that came from out of town were like, yeah, fireworks. It was like, because it's not normal for them. We go to Disney all the time, but not them. So it just worked out so perfectly. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, it's one thing to see the fireworks from inside the park, but when you see them from up at California Grill on the observation deck, it's just amazing because it's that overall view. You're seeing there with Space Mountain, Cinderella Castle, you have the Grand Floridian, the water on Seven Seas Lagoon out there. It's amazing. And by the way, I got to say this because there is a head kind of person that works at California Grill, and I was looking for her name here. Her name is Catherine. And she's a listener of our podcast because we had an event there earlier, about a year ago at this point, for the Magic for Less. We rented out one of the rooms and had a little hors d'oeuvre party after one of our events. And she came up and we were leaving the party and she's like, Mike, and because I was there with Pam, and she's like, Mike and Pam, are you guys from the show? And I was like, yeah. And so I hope that was her because she was tremendous, super kind, and she's one of the people who is like a hostess there and makes things happen at the California Grill. So if she happens to be listening today, we love California Grill, and you guys are also there, and it was great to hear that they accommodated you all. So shout out to Catherine, because we love to hear that. And everybody loves California Grill. I still haven't eaten there except for special events. I've been there for 2 things. It's just because my wife, she doesn't like seafood and fancy stuff. I do, but I'm also really cheap. So, that's kind of a thing. Okay, so I wanted to hear about what's that? Go ahead. What?
They're accommodating with the picky people for food.
Really? So you found stuff for picky people up there? Like what?
Yeah, our friend Shane that was with us, he's very simple eater. So there were a lot of things he asked for. Can I not have the sauce on that? Or, so they were very nice.
But what did he get though? If he's a picky eater, do you remember? I mean, did he get just like
I think he got like the steak plate, but the steak had like a cauliflower puree that he was just not wanting at all. And he asked for mashed potatoes instead. And they just kind of built him a little plate.
I like Shane too. It's not bad. All right. So some of these highlights, I just want to hit some of these. So you guys also did the Halloween party while you're out there, and a lot of folks getting ready to do the Halloween party here. I can't believe it, in like a week. It's already the Halloween season again. I mean, the decorations are already up at the Magic Kingdom. They've been up for a week at this point. So now you're married, Ariel, you're out there. Grant is having a good time with all the family. How was the Halloween party? Did you guys dress up at all or anything like that?
I dressed up. I had a Haunted Mansion outfit, like a cast member. Sylvia was Powerline and Ariel was Ray. So we definitely dressed up. Super fun. We've been to the one in Disneyland, and was that our first Disney World party? I think
we did Disney World the last time too.
Oh, okay. So we'd been to the parties before, but it's always such a good time.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. You also, that morning, looks like you did, or that day before the party. Because people are always asking, what do you do on the party day? Do I go to a park? You guys did Winter Summerland mini golf. So did you think that was a good thing to do, like a little putt-putt in the morning and then the party in the afternoon or the evening?
Yeah, we did Winter Summerland, which was super cute and fun. Last time we did the Fantasia Gardens. It's also super cute and fun. We had lunch, and then we took a dip in the pool, and then got dressed for the party and just left. It was super smooth, really mellow, and didn't feel rushed. It was fun.
That is a perfect day. Okay, so so the day after the wedding, we kind of skipped. I skipped over that when you guys did Maya Grow. We kind of spoke about that earlier. You did Animal Kingdom. Any highlights from the Animal Kingdom day? Just want to hit that real quick.
We'd never been on Dinosaur. I was actually really scared, but it was fun.
You guys have been to Disneyland though. Do you like that, or do you like Indiana Jones better?
Oh, Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
Same. I know. It's because it's new to me, because I just went to Disneyland for the first time the last couple of years. But I love Indy. But
yeah, it's still a must.
Yeah. Any other highlights from anything you really liked out at Animal Kingdom?
It's tough to be a bug because
really?
They don't have that at California Adventure anymore. So we were just so excited to do it and do the show.
Yeah, love it.
And we took a bunch of family photos in front of the Tree of Life. We were there forever. And same thing, the PhotoPass photographer was just like doing different combinations, making us do poses. We got the magic shots. And I think that was a lot of fun.
He took like individual portraits of every single family member.
Yeah, he did.
Like very close up also. He was just
he was doing senior pictures for everybody. Like thinking you're going out of your junior year into your senior year. Let's do
headshots, everything.
Yeah, exactly. He was getting paid obviously by the click. Oh my God. Okay, so your last day you guys did Disney Springs. And it looks like you did a whole lot of stuff over there. So what were some of your favorite things you guys did together over at Disney Springs?
I think we each had our highlight. Sylvia's was the Gideon's Bake Shop.
Yeah,
I really wanted to do that.
I did the virtual queue for that and was so excited to get that cookie. And then I think Allie did the ganachery and just like wanted to immediately get another s'more.
That s'more was so good.
Oh, see, I've only been there the day it opened, like at a media thing, and haven't been back. And my wife loves anything s'mores, so I'm sounding like I need to go back to that when I'm done.
It's the best s'more. And they also have a really fancy hot chocolate that I regret not trying.
next time.
So the s'mores thing though, is that something that I could buy and bring back on the plane like the next day?
I brought one. I did bring one.
I've brought back crazy stuff on the airplane where I've had to like fight the flight attendants because I brought back like cake pops and all kinds of stuff on the plane. Like, and they're all eyeballing. I'm like, sorry, I got to bring you something to the daughters and wife. But so you think it could maybe make it back? I'm just
as long as you travel carefully with it. It'll be good. You just stick in the microwave for a little bit. It'll be fine.
Okay, all right. I'll do that. Awesome. Okay, so what are some of the other highlights? We got ganachery, Gideon's. You guys are obviously have sweet tooths.
Yeah, we went to Jock Lindsay's, which was cool. The food was pretty decent, but it was the overall like vibe. It felt it was very themed and awesome. Silvia's partner is really into aviation, so he was just in love with that place. And the little details, he was saying that the napkins were actually shop rags.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just like, I love this place. Like,
that's cool. And you got a Christmas ornament. This makes me so happy because it's something my family's always done. You know, if you have a momentous event, you have a special vacation or a special trip to somewhere, and you have the opportunity, get a Christmas ornament, get it personalized, you know, have the date put on it, or if you can buy it with a date on it, whatever. Have that so you can put on your Christmas tree every year and remember that special occasion. So you guys did that over at the Christmas store over by the marketplace?
Yes, we did that. But I actually had to go back because they forgot to put like the apostrophe S because I wanted it to have like our new last name. So we ended up having to take it because my husband and I stayed longer at Disney World to celebrate our honeymoon. So we just took it into Magic Kingdom and they fixed it there. But they were super nice. And I love the ornament. It's like the glass Mickey head that's like iridescent, and then it has the castle inside.
Oh, nice. So you're like, we need the apostrophe S added.
Yes.
They forgot this. Okay, so that's kind of where we're going to wrap the show. But for your honeymoon, did you guys stay down there longer? So did you switch hotels and continue on?
We didn't switch, but that's something I would change if I could go back. I would go somewhere different. But we ended up doing each park one more time. So we did all the parks twice. So we were just kind of leisurely moseying around like, oh, you want to check this out? You want to check that out? And one of my favorite things was on our way into Epcot, we took the Skyliner from Hollywood Studios and we stopped at the Riviera. Yes. And we had the Croque Madame.
Oh, oh, so yeah, that sucker's heavy, but it's good.
It was so good. And I would recommend that to anyone. Just like a really nice way to enter the parks.
Okay. We all need to hang out sometime. We need to get your Silvia, your boyfriend, everybody. We just need to all hang out because I love aviation. We could talk that, this would be a good time. But man, what a great trip report, because I think everybody's curious about how weddings happen at Walt Disney World. And I think every little girl thinks about, a Disney wedding. I told you, my daughter kind of talks about it here and there, and I keep telling her, no, because your dad's not made of money. You can get married at a VFW hall here in St. Charles, Missouri. But who knows? We'll see how it goes. But let's just get her through high school at this point. We're not worried about that at this point. But I'm just so glad to hear about how it happened and how romantic is that. So I really appreciate you guys coming back on the show and sharing this with us. What a great way to start the week. So thanks for taking the time, and congratulations again, Allie. It's great to share the story.
Thank you for having us.
All right. You guys have a great week. And don't forget, our podcast is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Swing by the website this week over at themagicforless.com. We'd love to help you plan that next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney vacation. Again, fill out the free no obligation quote form over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com. If you're buying those back to school supplies, that's the place to do it. Use our link again, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And please support us on Patreon. Just $5 a month gets you all the podcasts and a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Thank you to everybody who supports us already over there. It means a lot to us. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give me a follow on the social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Would love to talk to you this week. And join us Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central for the next BOGP open line, where you can give us a call and be a part of the show. Join Scott and I and talk about anything you want when it comes to Disney. All right, we're going to jump out of here and let you get on with your week. We'll be back again on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. But for Sylvia, Ariel, and Allie, we'll wish you a great Monday and hope you stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All right. It got so much better once you guys switched cameras. Oh, man, it sounded way better. And that was so much fun. Thank you.
We'll have to come to one of your cruises then.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun. Cruises are the bomb. You guys have never done a Disney cruise yet?
Not yet.
They're expensive, but man, they're a blast. But I'm just telling you, once you take one, you're going to want to do them all the time. We didn't even leave the podcast cruise, and Mallory was like, what's our next one? And we immediately already booked it. We're going next July. So
nice.
It's like, can I bring a friend? So we had to book a stateroom that now holds 5 people so she can bring a friend with her next time. So it never stops when you have kids. Gotta keep them happy.
We're going to Disneyland in September, so we're excited for that.
You guys doing the Oogie Boogie Bash? Did you guys tickets for that? Oh, nice. Yeah, I love, because I hadn't been to Disneyland until last year, and I personally right now I like Disneyland better than Walt Disney World, just because, for one thing, it's all new to me, right? You know, I've done Walt Disney World so many times, but I just like how close everything is. You know, I could walk from Incredicoaster over to the Matterhorn in 10 minutes. You know, it's wild, especially when you have Genie Plus. You can just keep bouncing back and forth, and and the food. I love Rancho del Zocalo. Jam. I could eat there every day.
I'm seeing the trend here. The Mexican restaurants.
Absolutely, I love that. I just came from El Azteca. That's where I had dinner tonight. I mean, I eat Mexican almost every single night. Taco Bell a couple nights a week. I don't care. I love Mexican food. So yes, that's fun. Well, hey, thank you so much. I want to keep you guys, but you guys ever need anything, you just give me a yell.
Thank you, Mike.
Right, have a good week. I'll talk to you soon.
You too.
Bye.
All right.